The Philippines' hidden wealth. Multi-trillion-dollar oil and gas deposits that could reshape Asia. Imagine a nation rich beyond belief. Trillions of dollars locked beneath the sea. A treasure trove of oil and natural gas just waiting to be tapped. Now imagine that nation is the Philippines. Welcome to a story of opportunity, controversy, and global power. This is the untold truth behind the Philippines' multi-trillion-dollar oil and gas deposits. The South China Sea, known in the Philippines as the West Philippine Sea, isn't just a flashpoint of international conflict. It may also be one of the richest energy frontiers in the world. Estimates from the U.S. Energy Information Administration suggest the region could hold up to 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. But some Philippine analysts claim that a significant portion of this wealth lies within the Philippines' Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ. One area of particular interest? Reed Bank, located just 85 nautical miles off the coast of Palawan. In 2011, a survey commissioned by the Philippines Department of Energy found signs of enormous oil and gas reserves here. Reserves that could dwarf the Malampaya gas field, currently the country's most productive offshore gas project. But tapping these riches isn't just about energy. It's about sovereignty, power, and survival in a new geopolitical era. To understand what's at stake, we need to rewind to the late 1990s. That's when the Malampaya deep-water gas-to-power project began its journey. Discovered in 1989 and developed by Shell Philippines Exploration BV, Malampaya became operational in 2001. Since then, it has produced over 2 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and contributed more than $10 billion in revenue to the Philippine government. For 2 decades, it's helped power Luzon, fueling natural gas plants that supply 20% of the island's electricity needs. But here's the catch: Malampaya is depleting. By 2027, production is expected to decline dramatically. That's why new exploration is no longer optional, it's a race against time. And the motherlode might be right next door. Part 3. Reed Bank and the Untapped Energy Megaproject. Reed Bank, or Recto Bank, is said to contain up to 5.4 billion barrels of oil and 55 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, enough to supply the entire country's energy needs for decades. In 2010, the Philippine company Forum Energy, part of the Manuel V Pangilinan-led Philix Petroleum, secured Service Contract 72 to explore Reed Bank. The prize was huge. The risk? Even bigger. In 2011, a survey ship conducting seismic exploration under this license was harassed by Chinese naval vessels. It was a blunt warning. China was watching, and it wasn't backing down. Despite being well within the Philippines' EEZ, Beijing insists that Reed Bank falls within the controversial 9-dash line, an arbitrary boundary rejected by international law but aggressively enforced by Chinese Coast Guard and militia ships. Part 4. The Hague Ruling, Legal Victory, Limited Impact. In 2016, the Philippines won a historic victory at The Hague. The Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled that China's 9-dash line had no legal basis, and that Reed Bank was unequivocally within the Philippines' EEZ. But in the real world, legal victories don't guarantee security. China has continued its military buildup in the South China Sea, constructing artificial islands, deploying missile systems, and maintaining a near-constant naval presence near Philippine-held territories. This legal versus reality gap has made it nearly impossible for Filipino energy companies to safely conduct exploration in their own waters, despite international support and protestations. Part 5. The Potential Economic Boom, by the numbers. So what happens if the Philippines can finally tap these reserves? Let's do the math. At current market prices, 5.4 billion barrels of oil could be worth over $400 billion, while 55 trillion cubic feet of gas could fetch another $900 billion or more. We're talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry, enough to transform the Philippines into an energy exporting nation. That could mean energy independence by 2040, billions in infrastructure investment, millions of high-paying jobs, and a sovereign wealth fund that could rival those of oil giants like Norway or the UAE. But getting there isn't simple. It requires technology, capital, and above all, security. The foreign players involved, US, China, ASEAN, Marcos Jr.'s new energy strategy, joint development agreements, friend or trap. The role of the US-Philippines alliance and the EDCA base's environmental implications, a deep dive into global oil geopolitics, the future of Filipino energy independence.